Hi, Gerhard Bloom, once again looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So the human capacity for willful blindness and, absolute denial of evidence is yet again on display. I get into these bun fights with these pinheads on X. Oh no, the mass rapes, it's a myth, it never happened. Except it did happen. There's overwhelming evidence of that happening. Back on March 7th, I believe, the UN Special Representative on Sexual Violence and Conflict, she concluded here, reasonable grounds to believe that Hamas committed rape, sexualized torture, and other cruel and inhumane treatment of women. There is also reasonable grounds to believe that such violence may be ongoing. Here, with respect to the captives being held by Hamas, and also just criminal elements that went in to Israel and snatched up hostages, right? Here's the conclusion of the special reporter for the UN. Hardly a pro-Israel organization, right? There is clear and convincing information that sexual violence, including rape, sexualized torture, cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatment was committed against hostages by hostages held in captivity by Hamas. Uses the past tense because she's looking backwards, and that the team that went into investigate looking backwards. Undoubtedly, this is ongoing for those poor hostages that are still being held. And by the way, I have absolutely no doubt that a significant proportion of those that are being held captive or were being held captive are now dead. Do you think Hamas is going to be willing to release, these victims of sexualized torture and sexualized violence to the world to allow them to discuss their horrors in front of the world? Absolutely not. This is appalling. It's an absolute tragedy. And yes, these people on X, these, woke militants, these woke Marxists and Palestinian Hamas supporters and apologists, willful blindness. And yes, it makes them morally culpable. Getting back to this report, right? They found across various locales that several fully naked or partially naked bodies from the waist down were recovered. Mostly women with their hands tied and were shot multiple times in the head at the music festival and surrounding areas. Reasonable grounds to believe that there were multiple rapes and or gang rapes, and the women were then killed or killed while being raped. Imagine that, if you will. But it gets horrifyingly worse. There were witnesses that in at least two occasions, yes, these Hamas killers having sex, raping dead Israeli women. Imagine that. This denial, there's absolutely no excuse for it. The horrors on October 7th, inexcusable. Freedom fighters, Palestinian freedom fighters, said this before and I will continue to say this, no horror visited upon you, nothing would justify engaging in mass rape, sexualized torture, mutilation, let alone, the slaughter of innocent children. And I don't mean children as Hamas defines them, like, some 17-year-old anti-tank weapon carrying Palestinian. No, I'm talking about actual small children being killed by Hamas while they're out engaging in mass rapes and sexualized torture, and then taking these women and children hostages to visit more depravity upon them. You support this, give your head a shake, and stop this, rampant denialism of this horror show. There's no justification, absolutely nothing. Anyways, Thank you so much for your time and attention. If you appreciate the video, do drop a thumbs up. Gratifies my fragile male ego. And please check out my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. It's available on Amazon. Not important because I wrote it. I wrote it because the issues could not be more important. And well before these atrocities on October 7th, I discussed the long history of this alleged oppressed Palestinian population. No. It's a myth. It's a lie. A lie I once believed myself, by the way, before I realized everything about this woke Marxist ideology is a lie. It's a tissue of lies. Anyways, thanks so much for your time and attention. Bye-bye now.